Tonight on Customs, a man suspected of smuggling drugs makes one of the strangest requests customs officers have ever heard.
Will you give me money after the X-ray?
Will I give you money? I'm not going to give you any money.
I mean, not you, the government of the UK.
No.
Why would they give me a compensation?
No, that doesn't happen.
This woman says she's off to Hong Kong to see the sights, but she could be telling porky pies.
Who's that, Porky?
There's someone in London.
In London? Someone in London? Porky. Yes.
And officers uncover a cache of animal skins, which tragically could come from endangered species.
It's sort of quite harsh to sort of see sort of beautiful furs like this, where they should actually be running loose and wild somewhere, shouldn't they, really?
As well as using various means to catch drug smugglers when they arrive, many countries have elaborate intelligence units operating out of overseas drug hotspots. Their job is to identify possible smugglers and pass the information on to customs authorities. It's then up to the officers to investigate them when they arrive. In Gatwick's North Terminal, a plane has just arrived from Montego Bay in Jamaica. Intelligence from Montego Bay informed customs officers a passenger on board this flight may be a drug smuggler. Sure enough, a drug dog indicates on a brown suitcase. If the suitcase belongs to the passenger in question, there's a big bust to be had. The suspect passenger is wearing a white jacket and red shirt, and he's acting very nervously. As he waits at the luggage carousel for his suitcase, he appears to be getting more and more nervous. He spots the brown suitcase, goes to pick it up, but quickly leaves it back on the belt. As the same brown suitcase comes past again, the man stares at it intently and seems unsure about whether to pick it up. He later leaves with a red suitcase, but as he passes through the customs channels, officers intercept him to ask a few questions.
How long have you been away for? 4 weeks, yeah? And what's the purpose of your trip? A month's right. Did you pay for your ticket yourself? I see, right, okay. And where are you off to from here? Croydon. Okay. This is your bag? This is your only bag? Yeah?
The officer checks the luggage tag with the man's travel ticket, which prompts the man to have a change of heart.
This is your bag, right? Do you know where your bag is? Take that bag?
Officers escort the man back to the baggage hall to look for his real suitcase. But other officers have already found it. Only now it's missing its luggage tag. Out on the runway at Gatwick, a flight from Trinidad and Tobago has just landed. A sniffer dog indication has been given on a female passenger who claims to be travelling alone. From looking at her travel ticket, UK border agency officers suspect she is actually travelling with a male friend. As she passes through the customs channels, Officer Chris stops her to ask a few questions.
What's your reason for travel today?
Actually, I'm not staying in the UK.
Right.
I'm going to Hong Kong.
Hong Kong?
Yeah.
Are you actually staying here at all any days, or you're going straight from here to another airport?
Yeah, straight from here.
That's for a holiday in Hong Kong, is it?
Yeah.
At the minute, she's got an interesting story that she's got a third party paid for her ticket. She's going to a place she's never been before. Doesn't know anyone out there. I mean, the dog showed interest as well. So.
With a number of suspicious signs, Chris checks the woman's possessions and suitcase for any traces of drugs.
It's a scientific test, that is.
The swab test of the woman's suitcase has come back clear, but Chris continues his search.
Who's that, Porky?
There's someone in London.
In London? Someone in London?
Yeah.
Right. And you've never been to London before? or this country?
Yeah.
So how do you know Porky then?
Oh, he was from Trinidad as well.
Right. When did you last see him?
Yes, no.
When did you last speak to him?
Yesterday.
Yesterday.
Officer Chris has doubts, but seems happy the woman is not a drug smuggler. He still has concerns, though, about her reasons for coming to the UK.
I think we know where this is going.
Yeah, she's going.
But what I'll probably do is a search of the person anyway. I've got enough grounds of my own just to do it.
The woman's suspected travelling companion is also pulled over in the customs channels.
See the guy over there.
Is he?
In search, yeah, you should come with. She said that they got travelling together, but they got the same hotel booking.
Hong Kong? Is that on the itinerary? I didn't see that when I was looking at it.
No, but I heard something about Hong Kong, I don't know, but they got the same hotel booking and everything like that.
On Gatwick's southern runway, a flight has just touched down from Tripoli in Libya.
Are you living over here?
UK Border Agency officer Sarah has pulled aside a lone male passenger for questioning. The man claims to be in the UK to visit a book fair, but Sarah is concerned by the lack of clothes he's carrying for a 2-week visit.
This is like a mobile office in here.
Yeah, that's mobile office. That's my mobile office.
A mobile office?
Exactly.
So is this all the clothing you've got for 14 days?
Yes.
You've got this small pile of clothing here and half a suitcase full of paperwork.
Oh, that's the way I've been doing it before now.
The man's story becomes even more confusing when Sarah discovers he is trained in a totally different occupation.
See, why are you carrying all these old School of Nursing documents?
I said, this is my mobile home, you know, there's no problem to that.
So you're a trained nurse and you want to go into nursing, but you have a book company.
Exactly.
With
the man's story not adding up, Sarah speaks to her colleague Chris for a second opinion.
Do you find anything else about a book fair?
It's a trade fair. You either exhibit or presumably purchase.
He's not an exhibitor. He trades in books. He owns his own company, and he said he trades in books. Half the suitcase is literally full of paperwork. He's only got that small pile of clothing, a few pairs of jeans, a couple of suits, and he can't really tell me why he's got half a suitcase full of paperwork, and some of it's really old paperwork, and he just said, well, that's the way I do business.
Chris takes the suitcase to a workshop to see if there's anything hidden in the handle.
We're suspicious about this handle because we often see drug concealments within the handles of suitcases. This handle didn't retract at all, so it didn't come out at all. It sounds fairly solid when you tap it. So simply just put a small hole in it to make sure there's nothing inside it and no drugs inside it. And the handle now works.
The man's suitcase is clear, but Sarah has found a high trace reading for cocaine from the man's mobile phone. There's growing concern he may be a drug smuggler.
We've got no paperwork relating to the book fair. He said it's all electronically in his inbox. Can I go ahead with a rub-down search on him?
Yeah,
okay, thank you.
With the search being taken to the next level, the man is led away to find out if there's an ulterior motive to his UK visit. In the northern terminal, the man who failed to collect his brown suitcase off the luggage belt but picked up a red suitcase instead has been led away for questioning. Officers head back out to the baggage hall to track down the missing luggage tag for the brown suitcase. And they don't have to search for too long.
Found the tag. The tag's in his bum.
Is it? Oh, right.
Officers suspect this may have been a last-ditch attempt by the passenger to disassociate himself from the brown suitcase. They'll need to look inside the red suitcase to find out who the rightful owner is.
I think he realised that people were sort of onto him possibly, but what he's done is he's just picked up a random bag. He's taken the tags off of the bag which associates him to the other bag, and then he's just picked up this bag to walk through customs.
With the red suitcase on its way back to its rightful owner, officers can now concentrate on the contents of the man's real bag, which their intelligence reports is carrying herbal cannabis. The man is led away to the airport's custody suite, where the contents of his suitcase can be formally assessed. In Gatwick's southern terminal, Officer Chris is interviewing a woman who says she is flying alone to Hong Kong for a 3-week holiday.
Who's that, Porky?
Customs officials have been informed that a man on the same flight is also going to Hong Kong and has reservations in the same hotel. Suspicions are raised even higher when it is revealed that the woman is pregnant.
Now we know she's pregnant, it's looking more like it's an immigration sort of angle rather than customs. But it's no harm to do the search of person just to sort of satisfy ourselves there's nothing there. We think the chap over here is travelling with her and probably acting as a facilitator for her to get through. I think the suspicion is she's not going to go to Hong Kong, she's coming here to have her baby, probably on national health, which is quite a common sort of reason for travel with a lot of people.
As the woman is led away for the search, it looks increasingly likely she will be sent back to the Caribbean. The passenger from Libya, with a suspicious amount of paperwork crammed into a suitcase, has been taken away for a body search.
I've searched his bag and x-rayed it. I haven't found anything in his bag, but we did get some trace readings for cocaine from his mobile phone. So together with my suspicions, I've had authorisation for a search of his person, so I'm just wondering whether he may be bringing something in that perhaps he shouldn't have with him here today.
The man's shoes are taken away to be swab tested.
What I'm doing here, I'm just taking a swab from the inside of his shoes to see if we can get any trace readings for any drugs off the shoes. The reason being, one of the ways that people bring drugs into the country is to swallow them internally, and I'm just wondering whether that's a possibility in this case. Nothing off the shoes. Let's just take them back to him.
But Officer Sarah is still not convinced by the man's story. She informs him she'd like to do a full-body X-ray to rule out the possibility that he's smuggling drugs internally.
Is that something you'd be willing to do for us today?
By my record here, I have not done anything that alter immigration procedures and rules. I can't see myself involved in anything drugs. Okay.
Okay.
But then, please yourself, huh?
Right.
I'm very vexed here. I'm angry. I'm angry. Very angry.
The man makes an unusual request, which the officers haven't heard before.
Will you give me money after the X-ray?
Will I give you money? I'm not going to give you any money.
I mean, not you, the government of the UK.
No.
What would they give me as compensation?
No, that doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. Because this is a tool that we use to help us, yeah, find people that have drugs inside them.
No problem.
All right.
Whatever will give rise to maximum efficiency, I'll cooperate.
Excellent.
Back at Gatwick, the man who has been arrested on suspicion of importing a suitcase full of illegal drugs is being checked into the airport's custody suite. The brown suitcase he tried to ditch in the baggage hall has been taken away to be examined.
The whole bag together was 29 kilos. Now there is some stuff in there, but I would think that there's probably approximately 20 kilos of cannabis here.
8 blocks of herbal cannabis are pulled from the man's case. It's no wonder he was keen to avoid being caught. The man is held in a cell, while the scale of the seizure is assessed.
16 kilos, 16.070.
The passenger from Libya with a suspicious amount of paperwork crammed into a suitcase has had his request for payment denied. And with no money having been exchanged, the man is taken to the X-ray machine to see if he's carrying packages internally.
Right, you want to pick your stuff up, we'll take a seat out here. Can you sit out here with you for a second? Yeah.
The images are carefully examined for any evidence of drug packages.
Or in there. Or in there.
This time, however, nothing is found on the X-ray, and officers are happy that he's not carrying anything illegal. Despite their suspicions, the man is free to leave.
Okay, that's fine. I wasn't happy with the fact that he was over here for a book fair, the amount of money that he had on him, the readings, trace readings for cocaine from his mobile phone, and that's why I wanted to take it further. The next logical step for me was just to make sure that he didn't have an internal concealment inside him. I didn't find any packages, but next time maybe.
Meanwhile, a flight has just arrived from Istanbul in Turkey. UK Border Agency officer Liz is working in the baggage reclaim area with sniffer dog Cody, who is the airport's newest dog, trained specifically in the detection of products of animal origin.
It stems back from when we had the foot-and-mouth outbreak, and we're trying to sort of stop any sort of food products coming out from outside the EU, certainly meats, cheeses, any sort of products of animal origin really. If there's any sort of parasites or any sort of bacteria, etc., that could get into our own food chain is what we really are trying to prevent.
The Istanbul flight is renowned for passengers bringing in meat and other banned foods, and officers in the customs channels are making a number of seizures. One passenger has caught the attention of officers as her suitcase contains a number of animal skins.
I've had a look in the bag. I've come across these skins. She's claiming they're rabbit, but they're clearly not rabbit. They're all going to be detained. If they're okay, they'll be forwarded on to it, but until we get confirmation, they're going to be detained.
The trade of illegal fur kills 40 million animals a year, netting the smugglers over $1 billion every year. Back in Gatwick, officers are still investigating a pregnant woman who they suspect has come to the UK to have her baby on the National Health Service. The woman has been taken for a body search, but officers are interested in her suspected travelling companion.
This immigration turnout was a slight dog indication. She's got a ticket, she's going to Hong Kong for 3 weeks. We think she's with the bloke over there in the white hat because he's going to Hong Kong as well. They deny knowing each other. Right.
Officer Fitz heads over to ask the male passenger some questions.
Right. Are you travelling alone, sir? Yeah. And what's the purpose of you going to Hong Kong?
We'll just car parts and accessories.
Sorry?
Car parts and accessories.
Car parts and accessories. And is this to do with your company, is it? Do you have a company?
Yeah.
And what's your company name?
Auto Body Works.
He's going to Hong Kong. His friend, who owns a travel agent, has paid for the ticket and he's going to reimburse him when he gets back if he's successful with buying the car parts.
Has he got much cash on him?
He's got, apparently he's got $5,000 and a credit card. And he's got £70 sterling.
Fitz decides to do an X-ray on the man's suitcase to find out if there are any hidden concealments.
Obviously we just find out how Chris is getting on with his passenger, because apparently they've been told they're not actually travelling together. But they seem to be going to sort of like going to the same country, well, going on to Hong Kong. So let's just see if they get their stories right or not.
No illegal items have been found in the man's suitcase. Officers have also finished their body search of the pregnant woman.
I've just finished the search on that girl. They've not found anything on her to warrant us going any further with it at the minute. Thanks for your time.
The male passenger was allowed to continue his journey to Hong Kong, while the pregnant woman was deported back to Trinidad and Tobago.
It looks like it was immigration angle. No, I think that was probably the answer. Immigration may even have a record of who Porky is. Porky. Yes.
In Gatwick, officers have just finished processing the woman who was found to be carrying what looked like a batch of illegal animal skins. The skins will be sent to a specialist unit at Heathrow Airport, which deals with items that are suspected to originate from endangered species.
Certainly a couple of these look like cat, some sort of big game cat probably, deer, elk maybe, and I mean the obvious thing would say bear there, but until we get it properly looked at, it's going to be very difficult to sort of see really exactly what we are dealing with.
With the illegal fur trade netting billions of dollars worldwide each year, the UK Border Agency plays a vital role in helping prevent criminals profiting from this scandalous trade.
It is sort of quite harsh to sort of see sort of beautiful furs like this where they should actually be running loose and wild somewhere, shouldn't they really? But sadly they're not.
A formal warning is issued to the woman who is carrying the animal skins. Recent changes to the UK's Animal Cruelty Act mean that a person convicted of importing skins from endangered animals could face fines up to $25,000 and a heavy prison sentence. The Jamaican man who had 16 kilograms of herbal cannabis in his bag has been busted. And he's looking at a lengthy stay in jail.
Basically, I had to cut every one of this. It looks like it is herbal cannabis. I mean, as soon as you cut into it, there's a quite a strong pungent smell. I mean, it's actually surrounded, you know, in the whole room now. But I had to check all of them because sometimes they have mixed cocaine with cannabis in as far as packages are concerned. So I had to make sure that each one of this looked like what we suspected as herbal cannabis.
Cannabis normally is in large blocks like that, so normally they would be in somebody's bag, because I mean, you've seen the size of them particularly. If you were smuggling cocaine, you find that some people's body sometimes, and also they swallow little pellets as well. So, but cannabis is a fair sized chunk, bulky material, so normally it's in a bag, something like that, not normally carried on the body.
A field test is conducted to confirm whether the substance is in fact cannabis.
The positive indication should be a kind of like a reddish colour. See, there we go. That's a positive indication for herbal cannabis.
With a street value of more than $60,000, it's an excellent